Cool. Cool. Sit down.
So Simon, how long have you been a dog? Thanks for taking the time out to talk to me today.
It's my pleasure, Ben Frost.
Fantastic. Simon Lovelace.
Ben Frost is my absolute pleasure.
What essentially is the idea of Zeropoint?
Yeah, well, firstly it was site specific, so it was to fit in with the wall. It's got to work over a long period of time with a lot of people seeing it in an environment that changes all the time. For me, having an advertising graphic design background, it had to be very graphic.
Yeah.
Kind of it's subversive as well, in that, you know, a lot of people think you shouldn't be able to use swear words, you shouldn't be able to show nudity, you shouldn't be able to do this sort of thing, but everyone that comes in here is 18 years old.
Yeah.
And to me it was an idea that, you know, of taking back a piece of language rather than losing it all the time to advertising. It's subversive because it's actually a product with no product. It's like an advertising element with no product. It's an exclamation point as a 0 point. It's like a fuck yeah. It's like when you see it, it denotes itself. Do you know what I mean? Yep. The idea of it and what it means and of itself. So it's very encapsulated in that regard. So people find it very simple to grasp without actually having kind of a meaning behind it. No one's asking questions. Why?
Tell me then more about how this spills out into the actual event, Zeropoint, because this evening you're having Zeropoint 2.
It was to launch not just the wall, the aspect of the wall, the installation and the mural, but it was also to have an opportunity to put on entertainment that wasn't rock and roll, because there's a lot of rock and roll that goes on in Sydney, and that's no problem, I like it, but there's also an opportunity where it was more electronic, it was more digital, drum machines, synth pop, guitars, that kind of thing, and it was just something which I had in the back of my mind for a while. The first one was really good. Tonight's the rap party, 0.2. I think it'll be even bigger than the last one.
There'll be rapping?
There will be no rapping.
Oh, so it's not a rap party?
No, there'll be no rapping.
Had you considered calling it Fuck Yeah?
The idea of the wall, it came to me so suddenly, yeah, so immediately, and I never changed my mind, I never had to question. And I knew, you know, once you get this black and white lines on over, what, we got 16 metres of wall, yep, that it was going to be, you know, graphically impressive. In a world where everything's colour, when you go back to black and white, it stands out, and then the actual installation has changed. You know, my installations which I've created over the last couple of years have gone from a static lighting source to now this. This is like all about, you know, the idea of changing moods,
right,
and being able to, you know, use that changing mood within the environment.
And is there some level of interaction there, I guess?
I guess this is where my playfulness comes in. This is where I get to control. You know, it's my kind of, you know, tongue-in-cheek. I mean, these things now can plug in, I realised this weekend, can plug in over a 3-pin cable to the lighting desk. So this is redundant. You can actually have lighting now where that plugs into a box and it adapts to the music. There's a little microphone in it, and it changes due to the music, so it's beat driven. I sent the artwork to my mum and dad and my sister, and they were like, email me back, oh, it's lovely, dear, but you know, obviously you had to do those words for the client, so that's okay. I'm like, yeah, that's right, but I didn't explain anymore. Reclaiming words and using them rather than being told you can't use them, or being told that they're taken by someone else. Advertising does it all the time. You know, think of words.
Advertising takes the word fuck.
No, they've taken the word three, and they've taken the word orange, and they've taken the word, you know, these words are being, you know, taken from our language, as it were, and owned for purposes, you know, which are kind of like, I'm not a big fan of advertising, but I like to know how to undermine it.
Yeah, you're subverting advertising.
Exactly, you know, much like, you know, it's like a mirror. We like to mirror what's going on in the, you know, in contemporary life, because that's who we are. It's our, you know, it's our pop art motif. Is that you know, we're allowed to. Because fuck, if you're not allowed to, then what the fuck's going on? Because then it shouldn't be that they're allowed to do whatever they want without us being, you know, some sort of, you know, cultural kind of like a mirror to that zeitgeist. You know, you turn on the TV at 6 o'clock and you're having your dinner and there's news on and it's just like death, destruction, war, famine, pestilence, blood, guts. You know, if they put on like an hour of porn, you know, it would be fucking aces, you know, but they're not going to do that. You know, those sort of feelings are kind of hidden and kept away, and it's very under the table. And
yeah, well, I guess it's censorship and.
Well, you've had your artwork censored.
Yeah, just the other day on Facebook, I put up a painting that I'd done.
The Homer.
The Homer.
Homosexual.
Homosex tape. But they sent me a message. Maybe you've had the same message. But
Yeah,
it's like
2 or 3 times.
And you've got to tick a box saying,
Yeah.
I acknowledge that I was naughty.
Yeah, exactly. So you actually have to, you know, basically agree to their rules of.
Well, you know, there's a certain line there that
you get away with it. You get away with it. It's basically you get away with whatever until someone complains. You'd be amazed though, who, you know, becomes offended by shit.
Oh, totally. But then, you know,
Because behind that Homer Simpson was what? Because it was Homer Simpson outline, and behind Homer Simpson was what?
a woman fingering her anus and pussy. But everybody saw it.
I rest my case, my lord. Yeah, well, you know, there
Everybody
you
saw it,
go.
press
I mean,
like.
there you go. I mean, most people are expecting, you know, they like your repertoire of images of like, you know, cutesy fucking Disney shit. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. The idea of a woman fingering her ana and is something which, you know, may
But I
cause.
think people are so blasé these days. Like,
That's
just,
what I'm
I
saying.
can't
They'll
believe
show
someone
pictures
would,
of wandering around with their
I mean-
fucking arms blown off. But, you know, when it comes to something that everybody, well, most people do, most people, you know, there's been so many, you know, photos of Facebook shots in front of this and profile pictures and stuff. So obviously it's been accepted, it's been well accepted as not just, you know, people aren't thinking of artwork, they're thinking something else, which is, you know...
the context of the space.
Yeah,
that's in,
exactly.
And you want to come here, have a good time. Not necessarily always wanting to look at art or to be, you know, obsessing over the intricacies.
And because it changes, that element then gives it something which is more than a static piece of artwork. Because with a static piece of art, no matter how deep it is, after a while you're no longer looking at it. It's kind of like part of the furniture. So this piece of furniture keeps on being, you know, adaptive.
Well, I think talking about the site specificness of it in the context of Oxford Art Factory, which is essentially a club, you often can't really make art in that kind of environment because it's an environment that it's all about immediacy.
Absolutely,
and
the immediacy,
boldness,
totally. And the idea behind this, especially with youth culture, is it's like I'm going to the bar, fuck yeah. I'll be right back, fuck yeah. I'm off to the toilet, fuck yeah. You know, that kind of like, it's always the idea behind it. In one aspect is it's embiggening. You know, it's constantly affirming what's going on. It's not, you know, I think we've discussed, or I don't know if I've discussed it with you, but I've discussed it with other people, if I put up something very different with a very negative context, the whole room would change.
Yeah, we were talking about
Yeah.
if that's a fuck no.
Exactly, if you said fuck no, I mean, you
Yeah.
know, that, it's very, the subliminal nature, when you're having a good time, when you're drunk or you're high or you're having a good time and you're out, you want an affirming context.
A certain firmness.
You want to touch firmly. But you know, you go places because it makes you feel comfortable.
Yes.
You don't go to another place because it doesn't make you feel comfortable.
Yes.
So
I never hang out at your place.
exactly. You know, I have to fucking pay you to come around.
So